Good morning. G.K. Chesterton is a fascinating fellow, mostly from the things he said. He was born in Kensington, England in 1874. His friend has a funny way of describing him. This is George Bernard Shaw, whom some of you may be familiar with. He calls him a large, abounding, gigantically cherubic person who seems to be growing larger as you look at him. Anyway, he is... he enjoys, he has a certain joy, he has a prolific sense of writing. He went to school to study art and then just became a writer, and he started writing so much. He wrote 80 books, poems, he wrote, oh my gosh, so many things. 80 books. I think there was 4,000 articles he wrote, besides writing plays. The man just could speak all the time, and did. And as a result, he had a lot of friends. He had different ways of thinking, so politically, socially, he kind of was off on a tangent that people didn't buy into. I think of G.K. Chesterton, you think of quotes, more so than his life. He had a wonderful life. He loved his wife and his family, but he's a very big social critic. He's a critic of capitalism, critic of a lot of the imperialism. He wrote a book called, I think it's Heresy, and then someone said, well, you know, what would you say is the right way of being? And he's talking, I think Heretics was the name of the book. So he went about to answer this question. As a part of that, he wrote the book Orthodoxy. And as a part of that, and in a long process, he actually found out that his beliefs were the same as a Christian's belief. And he thought the Roman Catholics held it so well because they valued tradition. And he didn't see tradition as something that stuck. He saw tradition not like democracy where you listen to everyone, but tradition where you listen to even those who have come before us. And so from that you get such a deeper sense of wisdom. Really interesting point. But his quotes, his famous one I always remember is the fact that that Christianity has not been tried and found wanting. It's been found difficult and never tried. I'm going to give a couple more of these because they're such a good thing. He says, the Bible tells us to love our neighbors and also to love our enemies, probably because generally they're the same people. He says, art, like morality, consists in drawing the line somewhere. There's something about outspoken and insights that he gives us that's so fascinating. He gives us a way of thinking that's not tied to the normal method. He has a quote here saying, tradition means giving vote to the most obscure of all classes, our ancestors. It is the democracy of the dead. Tradition refuses to admit to the small and arrogant oligarchy of those who merely happen to be walking about. So that we're here for the first time, and to hear all of those voices gives us a much deeper wisdom. He also was a joyous fellow, laughed a lot. He said the reason the angels can fly is because they take themselves very lightly. I think the final one, and I don't want to understate him because, as I said, he wrote 80 books. He wrote great stuff. He had a series called Father Brown's where there were mysteries, and this priest was solving all these mysteries, and he wrote a lot of these stories, a lot of these books. But one of the things that you got to get to from this outspoken, rapacious fellow was a sense of joy. He enjoyed his life, he enjoyed his wife, he enjoyed everything. And he says that I would maintain that thanks is the highest form of thought, and that gratitude is happiness doubled down by wonder. Now, let us wonder about our day and about all of the great joys that we can take. Have a good one.